The fluorescent lights hummed overhead, casting a stark glow across the rows of desks in the quiet Lagos office. The clock ticked closer to midnight, the hour when most had already gone home, save for the faint clicks of fingers on keyboards and the rustle of paper from the cleaning crew in the background. A young woman with piercing eyes and carefully pressed hair sat at her desk, peering occasionally over the top of her computer to catch a glimpse of her colleague across the room. Addis had always known there was something peculiar about Bisi. From her very first day at the farm, Addis felt the pull of mystery that seemed to surround the older woman. Bisi was an enigma, moving through the office with an almost otherworldly grace, her clothes as sleek and dark as the expression she wore, a look that was both distant and consuming. But it wasn't merely her beauty that captivated Addis' curiosity, it was something deeper, an intangible aura that set Bisi apart from anyone Addis had ever met. Rumors about Bisi ran wild among their colleagues. They said she never took sick days, that she arrived before anyone else and left long after everyone was gone. Some claimed she could read minds, finish sentences before others spoke, and predict events with eerie accuracy. But for Addis, it was more than idle gossip. She had witnessed things, small, unsettling moments when Bisi's eyes seemed to flash or her hands lingered in the air, fingers moving as though she were tracing invisible symbols. It wasn't until the late shift on an especially humid Thursday night that Addis decided to confront her curiosity. She stayed behind, pretending to be immersed in spreadsheets, waiting until the office was deserted. She glanced at Bisi, who remained as calm and focused as ever, her fingers gliding over her keyboard with inhuman precision. Every few minutes, Bisi would stop and gaze out the large windows, eyes reflecting the flickering lights of the Lagos skyline as if she saw something Addis could not. Eventually, Addis rose from her desk and approached Bisi's cubicle, her heart pounding in her chest. She had rehearsed her lines over and over, though she hadn't settled on a reason for her visit. Bisi, Addis' voice sounded too loud in the silence. I wanted to talk to you. Bisi looked up, her eyes meeting Addis with a calm intensity. What is it, Addis? Her voice was smooth, yet it carried a weight that made Addis feel as if she were sinking under its surface. For a moment, Addis' courage faltered, but then she gathered herself. I just wanted to ask if everything is okay, she said, her voice wavering. I mean, you've been here alone a lot, don't you get tired? Bisi's lips curved in a slight smile, her eyes not leaving Addis' face. Thank you for your concern, she said, voice as calm as ever. But I'm quite all right. I have my reasons for being here. There it was, that hidden edge, the undertone that hinted at things unsaid. Addis' curiosity flared, undeterred. Your reasons, she pressed, even as her pulse quickened. Bisi's expression shifted, her gaze growing more intense. Not everything is as it seems, Addis. Some things, some secrets are best left undisturbed. A shiver ran down Addis' spine, but something stronger drove her forward. She felt as though she was standing on the edge of a precipice, staring down into an unknown depth. What kind of secrets? Bisi's face softened, her eyes casting a shadow over Addis as if warning her of the danger ahead. If I were to tell you, you wouldn't sleep for weeks. It's better if you go home, Addis. Tonight, and every other night you're tempted to stay behind. But Addis shook her head, defying the fear that had settled like a cold weight in her chest. She knew there was more, something she had to know. I can handle it, Bisi. I want to know. Bisi's gaze hardened, the softness vanishing. She studied Addis as though assessing her, measuring her resolve. After what felt like an eternity, she rose from her seat. Then follow me. Bisi led Addis down a narrow corridor, past empty offices and cubicles until they reached a secluded conference room. She closed the door behind them and motioned for Addis to sit. As Bisi sat across from her, she took a deep breath and closed her eyes, her fingers twisting slowly in midair, as if she were weaving something invisible. The room grew colder. Addis felt her skin prickle, her breath catching as she watched Bisi transform. The older woman's eyes darkened, turning almost pitch black, her features sharp and ageless in the dim light. Her hands moved in intricate patterns, and soon Addis saw faint lights trailing from her fingers, forming symbols and shapes she couldn't recognize. Addis, Bisi whispered, her voice now a low murmur, resonant and hypnotic. What you are seeing is a glimpse of who I am. Addis felt paralyzed, both terrified and entranced. She wanted to scream, but her voice was trapped. You're a witch. Bisi's lips curved slightly. Witch is an old word, but yes. I am not like other people here. I was born into this path, gifted with knowledge and abilities that most can only dream of. Addis felt her heart race, her mind struggling to comprehend. Why do you stay here? In an office, working every day like the rest of us. Bisi's gaze softened, a glimmer of sorrow flickering in her eyes. It is the life I chose, Addis. Sometimes, even those with power crave normalcy, a respite from the weight of our gifts. Here, I find a semblance of peace, a rhythm of life untouched by magic and fate. As Bisi spoke, Addis felt an unexpected wave of compassion rise within her. She saw beyond the cold exterior, glimpsing the loneliness and isolation that came with Bisi's secret. For the first time, she felt she understood her mysterious colleague. But you can't keep your secret forever, Addis whispered, her voice barely audible. People will find out. Bisi nodded, a sad smile on her lips. I know. But for now, I have you to share it with. Promise me, Addis, that you guard this secret. Not just for my sake, but for your own. There are forces that would do anything to silence those who know. Addis took a deep breath, the gravity of Bisi's words settling heavily in her heart. She nodded, a silent vow of loyalty passing between them. As they left the conference room and returned to their desks, the silence felt different, less like the end of a revelation and more like the beginning of a powerful bond. Though Addis knew her life would never be the same, she also felt a strange warmth, a comfort in the knowledge that she had uncovered Bisi's secret and found a friend in the process. The clock struck midnight, and as the two women exchanged a final, knowing glance, Addis felt her own fierce quiet, replaced by an unbreakable understanding. She would keep Bisi's secret safe. And so the tale of two women bound by mystery continued, hidden beneath the hum of a Lagos office and the veil of ordinary lives. Title: Shadows in the Office, The Witch of Lagos.